On page 63 of our book, it says impression formation refers to the process you go through in forming an impression of another person. That's DeVito, 2012, again, page 63. And I feel like a lot of factors influence how you perceive people. And I think it really does. I think people do have a huge control over how they are and how they are perceived by you, I guess I should say. And so I really feel like on page 66, it talks about attribution of control. And it says it's a process by which you focus on explaining what someone behaved as he or she did on the basis of whether a person has control over his or her behavior. So an example for me is we've had this huge transition. We've absorbed a lot of territory at work. And so we've brought on some girls from further south that are like working with us. And when I first started, a lot of girls that I work with were like, these people are completely horrible. Like, they are just bad attitudes. They're negative. Like, they're just like, you can't do anything to change their mind. And I just could only see like the negative attributes. So when I evaluated these people's behavior when I first started working with them, all I could think was they're in control of that negativity. Like, they themselves, not what other people are saying. And I feel like that was wrong of me looking back in retrospect, because now as I've started to work with them the further through this transition, they're not as bad as what I think they are. So I think the attribution of control is people like to say that these people are just really bad, and they don't have any control of that. And so also on page 67, it says, in perceiving and especially in evaluating other people's behavior, you frequently ask if they are in control of the behavior. It says, research shows that if you feel a person was in control of the negative behavior, you'll come to dislike him or her. If you believe that person was not in control of negative behavior, you'll come to feel sorry for them and not blame the person. And so through this transition, I found that these people that the girls from my center in Aberdeen are saying are really bad people, they don't have control over that situation. That's just, they messed up a few times, or they had maybe an attitude according to those girls. So the girls from Aberdeen are perceiving the new ones as having negative attitudes and that it's all their fault. But in reality, these girls don't have any control over their situation. And so they are a little upset, and it's causing them to seem negative. But in retrospect, like when you look back over the whole transition process, it wasn't easy. And so it's caused everybody to be in emotional turmoil. So that's a situation where the attribution of control applies. Like, you can't just base what you hear from other people. Like, sometimes those negative things those are beyond those other people's control. Like, that, like the way you perceive people should not be based on what other people say, is what I'm trying to say. And then it also goes further down in 67, it talks about over attribution is the tendency to single out one or two obvious characteristics of a person and to attribute everything that person does to this one or two characteristics. And that distorts your perception. And again, like I was saying, like, they just really focused on the one or two bad things that they might have said, or the way they came across with their attitudes when dealing. And so it twisted the way I perceive these people when it's not true. When in fact they are really good, positive people, and they do try to help and they try to encourage people. So I really do feel that we do have control over how we are perceived by people. But at the same time, I don't feel that we are perceived. So I've tried to, or we don't have control of how we're perceived. So I have tried to like change the way I look at people.